What is up, my sweet potatoes? It is Michelle, and today I'm showing you 5 DIYs. These are all super cheap and super easy because you know I'm all about saving money and about saving time. These are just little room DIYs that you can use in your room at home or like at your dorm room. I'm just trying to show that you don't need a lot of money and you don't need a lot of crazy materials in order to do some really cute DIYs. Like, I used cardboard and I even used like a straw from Starbucks for one of my DIYs. I have all of the DIYs displayed in my room right now. You can play some spot the DIYs. Which one are they? I don't know. These are all DIYs that I've seen other people do and I wanted to recreate them for my own room. So I'm showing you how to do these things the lazy way, the easy way, and the cheap way. And I also wanted to say thank you to everyone who entered my giveaway. The giveaway is now closed and I have chosen a winner, so I will have the winner right here. So congratulations to the winner. I should have already messaged you by the time you see this video. So thank you again for everyone who entered, and I will be having another giveaway soon. Make sure that you're subscribed and that you stay tuned for that. Also, I mentioned in my last video that I wanted to start doing video shoutouts. So if you want a chance to get a shout out, comment down below and tell me when is your birthday. I want to know. My birthday is September 17th, so it's in about 1 month from now. And let's get started. So for our first DIY, it's going to be this hanging flower wall. So I got a bunch of flowers from my grandma because she has baskets full of these. Mine are fake flowers because I didn't have real dried flowers, but just use what you can get. I laid out the flowers on my floor the way that I wanted them to be when they were hung up and decided to make 3 rows and stagger the flowers. To make it easy for myself, I'm going to attach the top and bottom rows onto the same string. I measured against my wall how long I would need to cut my clear cord, and it was about 3 feet. So I made this loop on one end by knotting the cord around itself so that I can pull it and adjust it. This way is really helpful because it allows me to adjust the length of the cord to make it longer or shorter if I need once it's on my wall. Then I'm just knotting the clear cord around the stem of the flowers, and I'm leaving about 8 inches of space between the 2 flowers. Then I'm just repeating this process for all of my flowers. We also need something for all of the flowers to dangle off of, so I measured my wall and cut a long piece of twine that I'm going to use to attach the string of flowers to. I used thumbtacks on my wall, but if you don't want to damage your wall, I'd recommend using command hooks. Finally, I adjusted the spacing between the flowers, and that is it. So this next DIY is so easy. I don't know why I'm doing a tutorial on this, but I thought it was a cute idea, especially if you're going away for college. I thought this was a cute way to represent where you're from. So you can literally just find a black and white photo of your state or country. I'm using the Hawaiian Islands because I am from Hawaii, and print that out on some computer paper, but my printer was out of ink, so if your printer is out of ink too, or you don't have some place to print, do what I did and just cut it out. So I found a photo of the islands on my iPad and traced the outline on a piece of black construction paper. You can use your iPhone too, but I liked the iPad because it was bigger. Then I just cut out all of the islands and glued them onto a piece of white computer paper. And then I clipped this to a wood frame that I found at Ross for like $4. Or you can just attach it to a binder clip and hang it up like that if you don't want to spend any extra money. But that is pretty much it. So simple. I don't know why I'm making this tutorial, but I think it's so adorable and such a good way to represent where you're from. This next DIY is this geometric decor, and I've seen things similar to this go for like over $20, but you can practically make this yourself for free. So for this DIY, you're gonna need straws, and I had 4 pieces that were 2.5 inches long and 8 pieces that were 3 inches long, but you can change the length depending on how big you want your entire piece to be. We're basically creating 2 pyramids, so we're gonna start off with the base. I made a square using the 2.5 inch pieces and taped down the straws to make it a little easier to work with. I made sure all the edges were touching and that no straws were overlapping each other. Then I cut my clear cord long enough to thread through the straws twice. I just eyeballed all the measurements. You can also use wire or thread or whatever you have. And once I thread the cord through all of the straws twice, I double knotted it and tucked the ends into the straws. Make sure to not pull your cord or wire too tightly or too loose. You want it just enough so that everything can stay in place. Now we're gonna make the pyramid. So I cut a long piece of cord again, about 3.5 feet long, and threaded through one of the straws of the base and added 2 3-inch straws. And then threaded through the base again, so now you can see one face of the pyramid. Now I repeated this process, adding one more straw and threading the cord through to secure the triangle. Do this until your entire pyramid is complete. We're basically making sure that all of the straws are all connected by the cord to its neighboring straws to make sure that it is as secure as possible. To tie it off, I double knotted the cord and tucked the ends into the straws. Now I'm moving this pyramid onto its side and doing the exact same thing on the other side, creating another pyramid. So once you're done with that, now you can see that there are these large gaps between the straws. So I'm going to use hot glue to fill in the spaces, plus it helps to keep everything together. Once the hot glue dried, I spray painted everything gold, let it dry, and that is it. It looks so expensive, like you spent a ton of money on this, but in reality, I spent $0. So I got these next 2 DIY ideas from Amanda Rach Lee. I love her, so shout out to her for that. But for this yarn wall hanging, I got this cream colored yarn from Walmart for a few bucks. And instead of using a wooden dowel or branch or something, I'm using a Starbucks straw. Yes, you heard me, a straw that I got from Starbucks. It's the really long one, and don't worry, it's unused. And I don't know, I thought this was a clever idea because I don't have a wooden dowel, nor did I want to get a branch from outside. So I spray painted the straw gold, let it dry, and then I measured out about how long I want the yarn to hang, and then I made about 16 loops worth and cut one end of the loops. I took 2 strands at a time and tied it around the straw by pulling them through the loop. Then I used some twine and created these loops to attach to the straw, but if you don't have twine, you can just use more yarn. Before we start knotting the yarn, I taped down the twine to make it a little easier, and then I divided all of the loops in half and left out the 2 outermost strands. Then I took the left strand and knotted it once with the one next to it, and continued doing that down the line. You're basically knotting the left loop strands with the one to the right of it, and then leaving out the outermost strands once you move down to the next row. It's kind of confusing, but hopefully the video will help you out. You can also knot it twice, but I wasn't sure if I would have enough yarn for that, so I just knotted it once. Then I went ahead and trimmed the end. You can make it straight, but I'm just angling mine. So you can see that the middle strands became much shorter after we were done making all of our knots. So make sure that you cut enough yarn at the beginning. I kind of just eyeballed everything, and then that is it. So for our final DIY, we have this fake cinema box. These things have been so trendy lately, but they can be kind of expensive. This one that I DIY'd does not light up, but I still think it looks so cool. So I just used this large 13 by 10 inch photo frame from Walmart for about $5. Then I used the cardboard insert that came with it, measured it out, and drew 3 horizontal lines to make the 4 rows for my letters. Most cinema boxes have 3 rows, but I preferred 4. So to make the strips that'll separate the rows, I just used some old cardboard that I had. Some people use corrugated plastic, but I'm just trying to give mine the illusion of a cinema box. So I measured out how long I would need to cut each strip so that it fit in the frame over the glass. So I made each strip about 12.5 inches long and 1 centimeter wide. I drew out 3 of these and used a box cutter to cut them out. You can use an X-Acto knife, and I also tried using scissors, but the edges just didn't come out as clean. But I mean, it still works, so just use what you have. Then I spray painted all of the strips white on all sides to make it look a little cleaner. After I taped it, I used Photoshop to write out a saying that I liked. I printed it out and cut it to size, but I cut out the entire word and not the individual letters because I am lazy. I told you that I'm going to be showing you the lazy way, and that is what I'm doing. I also drew lines between each letter letter because I liked the way that it looked. And then I taped them on the top of the cardboard insert between the lines that we made, put it back on the glass, closed the hinges. So I figured that I might want to use this frame for something else in the future. So instead of using glue to glue down the strips, I'm just using tape, and luckily the strips were pretty secure in the frame even without any tape. And the cool thing about this is that you can still cut out each letter individually and stick it in between the strips to make it more like the real thing, and it still works perfectly fine. But up to you, you can totally switch out the message whenever you want as well, and I still think it looks like the real thing. Alright you guys, so that is all for my video. I hope it helped you out and I hope you got some inspiration from these DIYs. Make sure to follow me on my social medias. Definitely talk to me on there. You guys get to know more about me, but I definitely want to get to know my viewers a little bit more, so definitely don't be afraid to like message me and say hi or something. I think that would be awesome. All of my social medias will be linked down below. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!